Hey y'all, hey y'all. I think Belinda was muted for her message, but welcome. We're so excited to have y'all. My name is Paulina, and I will be the moderator for today's discussion. Lean on me, building the artist team. By the way, I'm getting some highs. Hey y'all, hey Amanda. Cool. Y'all can hear. That's great. Uh, Great team is essential for an artist as they need to promote and protect their craft. This panel will detail the various members of an artist team, how they interact and play a role in the artist's life and career, financially and creatively. So let's please welcome Chayce, Aurielle, Moody, and Eric. Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
So,
Hello. Why don't we start with a few intros? We'll go into discussion and leave some time for Q&A. So let's do intros. I'm going to kind of go around the screen. So Eric, why don't you start?
Hey, everybody. My name's Eric Garcia. I am the owner and an artist manager at Light Cave Entertainment, based out of Nashville, Tennessee. And my clients are primarily country artists. So that's where I focus a lot of my attention to.
Amazing. Chayce?
Hi, my name is Chayce Cheatham. I am based in LA. I currently work at Creative Artist Agency, or CAA, in the brand music partnerships. I work across the whole roster, but focus primarily on hip hop and R&B.
Amazing. Ariel?
Hi, everyone. I'm Aurielle Brooks. I'm an entertainment attorney and the VP and General Counsel for the photography agency Collective Gallery. I'm based here in Atlanta, and I represent a lot of music artists, producers, writers, actors, anything entertainment-wise, I do it. I work on the transactional side, so I negotiate a lot of the high-dollar deals for the artists. I work with several different artists in different areas, some of which include NBA YoungBoy, Sexy Red, Kevin Gates, Boston Richie, Big Walk Dog, and several others.
Amazing. And Moody?
What's up, everyone? I'm Moody Jones. I'm the GM at Dance at Empire. I'm also a founder of a label and marketing agency called Everybody Knows. I'm also signed to CAA on the artist side. And I work with everyone from Tyga to Aaliyah to Busta to Snoop to the Martinez brothers to Salome Lashat, country artists, Latin artists, whatever it is. And I'm really excited to be here to talk about the importance of the team.
Incredible. Y'all, we got some folks from California, Boston, Nashville as well. So excited to have y'all here. I'm Paulina, General Manager of the Digilog, also co-founder of a company called Highnote. And yeah, ready to chat about this. So let's dive into some general questions. What is the concept of an artist team? So for a lot of the folks here, if y'all don't know, would love anyone to jump in and give us an intro.
I'll start. The concept of an artist team, in my opinion, is just so that the artist has a backing and foundation to actually help them grow and develop in their career and focus on their artistry so that they can, focus on the music and have a team behind them to focus on the business aspects. Every major artist has a full team behind them.
I think from the label standpoint, what it tells me, the bigger your team is, the more people believe in you, the more comfortable I am in working with someone like that. Artists isn't just like about growing in their zip code or their neighborhood or whatever. It's having people that are actually invested in you. Sometimes, it's more about signing the team than it is signing artists. Knowing that you have this director by your back or this social media manager by your back or this writer behind you or whatever it is enough of a statement for us to actually think this act has something special.
Right. I think an artist team can be a lot bigger. When I talk to people who aren't in the industry, they're always surprised on how big an artist team can be. And I think there's levels to an artist team, right? So you have your manager, your business manager, your attorney, you have your label, you have your publisher, and your agent. And then from there, inside those buildings, obviously you have a social media team at the label, you have a digital team, you have your radio team, and that's your partnerships, and movies and television if that's something you want to get into. So a team can be really big for an artist. That it's important that everyone's talking and communicating to keep the train on the rails and going forward.
Yeah, and
Chayce,
I guess I'll add and say that we all work very closely together, right? From speak with music lawyers all the time, labels all the time, managers all the time. So it is important to have a team and collectively work together in order to keep the train.
amazing. Speaking of working together, though, what is the frequency? This is slightly the second question, but related to everything y'all just named. If you're working with, let's say, one artist, maybe two artists, what's the frequency in which you feel like y'all are meeting? Is it every day? Is it every week? Is it phone calls? Like, what's the communication like? Because it sounds like there's so many moving parts. How do y'all stay on the same page?
Yeah, I would say it's constant. It's every day. You're emailing with an agent on the tour, or different shows, and communicating that with the label. Usually, if there's an album cycle or a single coming out, that there's going to be a lot more conversations had during that time. But if a new deal's coming through that you need your attorney to look at, obviously that's when you speak with them. But you're constantly talking with the team and updating the team every day.
Yeah, I think on my side, on the agency side, I'm like the furthest removed from the artists in a like in comparison to the label or the manager or even the legal, because legal kind of sees everything that's going on at all times. So for me, it's really important to talk to people as frequently as possible. So I encourage managers, I encourage lawyers, I can encourage the label to reach out to me as often as they feel necessary, as often as they have more information to share, because without that information, I can't do my job. So,
Chayce, you mentioned legal sees everything. Ariel, do you agree with that? Do you know all the inner workings of the artists that you represent?
Absolutely, or I at least try to. um, so it definitely varies. So like you mentioned, when it's an album cycle, everything is go from the marketing, any social media assets, videos, features, producer agreements, of course. There's so many moving parts that the artists sometimes can be a bit confused, and so they'll lean on their manager or attorney or both to make sure that they understand exactly what's going on. We do a lot of communication with the label, liaising essentially between the artist and the label so that they know, okay, this is where the artist is at with putting this video out. This is where this is with meeting its deadline on releasing the album. With each moving part, we try to be as involved as possible, just to make sure that our clients stay happy and that things are released on time.
Deadlines are important, always important. Amazing. Okay, so then who's missing today? Like, we have a really good group here, but we know that there's other people in the team that are normally involved. So in your opinion, like, who else would normally be sitting at the table?
You know, yeah, there would be I know, Chayce, you do partnerships. I think the booking, the actual booking agent, as well as business manager who takes care of all their finances. Does payroll. A lot of times does the artist bills, the taxes at the end of the year, pays all invoices and all the band and the crew, and then publisher, probably a publishing team member.
and a publicist as well.
Yes.
Publicist has a really integral part in just making sure your name is out there, making sure that the way that your story is told is in a way that you want it to be told. So I think publishers are now kind of like lifestyle in a sense. So yeah, definitely. And the agent, I work at an agency, but I am not an agent. So I work closely with agents who are booking tours, booking festivals, booking, one-off events, just anything as it pertains to live. But then we also have the ability to bring in an artist to the agency and then help them get a book deal or help them get into a new movie or help them start up their foundation. Like it kind of all happens within the agency.
Moody, what about on your end from the distro side?
I mean, I think it's like the product manager, which is like making sure everything is buttoned up, like making sure these teams are aligning whatever every person's supposed to do is getting it done, making sure the music's uploaded properly, the right credits are set up, everything from the title of the song correctly, is the artwork correct, like all these little things that take away from an artist. Like I remember this week I was talking to an artist who had just switched labels, and he's like, all of a sudden now I'm making artist. He's like, I'm making a deck for myself. He's like, I've been a rapper for fucking 8 years. I swore. And all of a sudden he's making decks, and he's like, I realized that having a product manager and having someone taking care of these things that I didn't know were part of what I had to offer is taking away from my creativity for me to be focused on the music.
Yeah, product manager. I feel like that's kind of a tech term, right? That we've kind of co-opted, which has always been a term, a role, but just has this very important critical piece now on the artist team. So is there an area, I mean, y'all touched on some incredible stuff, but is there a particular area? I mean, Eric, you just mentioned even business manager, right? The finances, the payroll, like people aren't thinking about taxes and all of that. Is there, outside of a PM business manager, is there like a very specific role y'all feel like no one knows about, talks about, they're not very visible, but they're also crucial?
I think a lot of times people don't think about the tour manager. Even being a manager, people ask me if I'm booking the shows or if I'm going to every show. And the tour manager and production manager are very crucial when you get to touring. I rely a lot on my tour manager and production manager for advancing the shows and making sure everything goes well on the road. I mean, an artist can be on the road, 70, 80, 120 days a year. So they're spending a lot of time with that tour manager. And I need to make sure that, they're close to the artist, that the artist really trusts them, and they're making decisions that I would make when I'm not there.
A true partner, right? Someone has to be aligned with the vision. Anyone else in that vein?
I would say similarly, booking agent, someone that is booking you for shows, festivals, and assisting in negotiating that. A lot of times artists don't understand the importance of that or know that there is someone separate that typically handles that.
Amazing.
I'm meeting with
All right.
today.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
No deals, no live deals, y'all. I kid. All right. Kind of switch it up for this second part of the Q&A, and then or rather the discussion, and we're going to jump into Q&A after. So be sure to add your questions if y'all haven't yet. We're going to throw up a little small scenario, and then we're going to kind of walk through that scenario and see kind of what everyone here will do. I made it sound like a game show. I didn't mean for that to come out that way. So, okay, the scenario is a new artist is coming up on TikTok. Multiple videos are hitting millions of views, right? Pretty standard story these days in the last couple of years. They have a presence on both TikTok and Instagram. They're currently underrepresented. They're not represented, rather. They're based close to Philadelphia. They released their first single, has over 1 million streams at the moment. They're focused on tons of genres, so genreless. But they've never played a major show, and they have no established relationships yet. So each person would love to hear from you. What are the top 3 things that this artist needs to know right now in this position?
I'll start. I would say, and I kind of just went through this situation a little bit. I found an artist on TikTok, and he had no connections in the industry. Obviously, everyone's ears are perked up, and everyone's searching places like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram now for talent, A&Rs, and managers and agents. So I reached out to him, and there was actually already some artists, bigger artists in town, reaching out to him. Some other artist managers, and brought him to Nashville to talk. And I would say for that artist, I wouldn't rush into anything and really interview and try to understand the industry. And some of these people might be very green, and so they don't really understand the difference of what's a business manager, what's a tour manager, and what's a manager, and what's a publicist, and like we said, the team is so big, and so I always try when I'm meeting with an artist that seems green that has just popped up is discuss to them and kind of break down what the team is to them, so they have a full understanding. And I would just say, interview different parts of your team. I think a manager would be pretty crucial in that stage. That way they can just talk and help build those relationships with other people and set up meetings. But I think it's important for that artist to interview and not jump into things very quickly and understand what they're signing and maybe seek legal counsel before you jump into any kind of record deal or management agreement or agency agreement. So that's what I usually tell artists that are green, that are just popping up on TikTok. But I would also say too, you can't wait too long, because when you have a lot of traction at one point, that can come and go, and you have to keep adding fuel to the fire. You need a team to do.
Yeah, I would say go for it. I think that there are so many resources online that you can figure things out, right? Like if you're in Philly, what's the local, spot that has live music, and start building up your live performance. I think a lot of people assume that just because you have a big following on social media that people are going to actually show up to see you perform, and those two things could be very, very different. And so if, I would encourage, and people will come to you, right? Like you don't have to go out of your way and try to find an agent or try to find a manager or try to find this person. Like you continue doing on TikTok, you find your local coffee shop or whatever, you make a little tour, you go up the East Coast, and then people will come to you if you're making noise. That's what you really want versus, you seeking people out.
I'd say, of course, start to build your team, but truly vet them. So, you want to find management, you want to find an attorney, but don't rush into it. So vet them, do your research, interview them like you would any person that is going to work for you or work with you, and choose based on an authentic relationship that you feel like you can have with them. If you feel like they're really going to put in the work, have passion behind your music and behind you to help you grow, choose those people to be a part of your team. And to also piggyback off of what you guys said, I think capitalizing on the moment is also very important. For TikTok artists, a lot of times things may be fleeting. We're in such an instant gratification society that things just come and go so quick. So capitalize off the moment, do a video, maybe do a collab with someone, try to do a collab with an artist that is just above you or is already on. Do whatever you can to elongate this moment and extend it so that it's not just a quick snap of the fingers and it's gone, that it's lasting for more than just that moment and it's catching more eyes.
I kind of agree with Aurielle on this one. I think before you start thinking about the team you looking to hire or you're looking to add to kind of your support system, you have to ask yourself is one, is there fans asking me to play a show somewhere? Or is it me just wanting to play a show somewhere? Is it a one-off show or is it like a lot of different cities that are asking for shows? Two, I have a great following on TikTok, following on Instagram. Is that actually translating to DSPs? Are people actually listening to my songs there or not? In the last 4 weeks, out of TikTok's top 10, only 2 songs are in Spotify's top 200. It shows you that like TikTok's system of blowing up artists is no longer happening, at least in the current atmosphere. And 3, do I even want to play shows? I think if anyone ran a study about TikTok stars, most of them don't want to play shows. They want to grow their fan base. They want to grow their distribution network and do other stuff. They don't really want to perform and go on tour or anything like that. So, those would be the 3 questions I would ask myself as a TikTok or Instagram artist before moving forward.
What's the bonus question? What's the alternative? What's the place that people are quote unquote blowing up on? Or I have a secret answer to this. I think we all do too. What's the alternative to the person that's getting 15 minutes of fame, 15 seconds of fame, right? What's the other artist that's hopefully getting signed, but maybe has already passed some of these steps? Do y'all have an example of anyone like that isn't just like coming up out of nowhere? I phrased it weirdly.
Recent, like a recent artist that actually has a trajectory and has proven themselves to be good at performing.
Yeah, I mean, the alternative is that, right? I mean, to kind of add more details, like for everyone here, the alternative is the artist that everyone thinks that came out of nowhere, but they've actually been around for a while, right? And that's usually someone who's done probably all of these steps.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would say an example, and I'll throw a name out there, at least in country music right now, is her name is Lainey Wilson. She had been in Nashville for, 10 years, just grinding it out, living in a trailer, just doing everything she could, riding with everybody. And now she's having a real big break, and she's on the award shows and winning awards and all kinds of that. But it's been 10 years for her, but it seems like it's been 2, right? So you hear those stories all the time, and once people finally gain their success, everyone's like, where'd they come from? But they had been working for years and years. I know Doja Cat was the same. She has the same type of story.
Yeah, for sure. All right, really quick to summarize those. There was like top 10 here, but the most important pieces were learn the industry. It sounds like that's a big thing. Eric, Aurielle, you mentioned that. It's like learn what a team is, build that team, visit them. Don't rush, but do the thing. Chayce, you said that too about like getting your resources online and going for it. That's number 2, right? So a little bit with that too, Moody. It's like, do you want to play a show? Like, what's your next step? You need to make that decision as an artist, right? And then the third piece is just kind of I would say actually it's more or less like what kind of artist do you want to be, right? That's the next one. So okay, how are we doing on time? Cool. So okay, let's say then this artist did the thing, they're doing the work, they got the team. Who's supposed to be the first person? We're talking about teams here. Who's the first person that this person actually needs? We kind of jumped around, but who are they calling up? Their cousin?
I would say legal. Legal is the first person I'd have on a team.
Yeah, legal.
Wow.
Yeah, a good attorney will connect you with the rest of your team. So they'll know a good manager that'll be right for the type of artist you are.
Exactly.
They'll know a business manager for where you are in your career right now. Maybe even playlisters that'll help you to expand your audience. A good entertainment attorney will help to grow out your team and help you develop along the way.
Agreed.
Unexpected answer, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
And it helps you avoid a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Especially early on in your career, a good lawyer will help you navigate. The reason you hear so many artists are in contracts that they're unhappy with, or the reason they're like can't put out their music when they want to put it out. Whatever it is, it's always, if you had a good lawyer, you probably would have been able to avoid a lot of these mistakes from the get-go.
But it's so hard. You want to get the music out, right? You want to do the thing. Amazing. Okay, and then so what's the first year looking like for this artist that we're again, remember TikTok blow up, totally different thing. Let's say they listen to everyone's advice. They learn the industry, they got their lawyer, and they do want to play shows. They're playing shows. What's that first year?
I would say it obviously depends on where the music is and what the song's doing and how quickly it's spreading. And so I think things can go really fast and they can go really slow. I would making sure the music is right would be really important, because nothing matters except the music. Really, it all stems from the music. So making sure your A&R and you're really happy and the songs are really good and the music is right. That would be my first year, making sure the songs are right.
Yeah, I think it depends on the artist. So we just started working with Diana Boss, who, they're two girls that are, you may have seen them on TikTok, literally running all over the place. But for them, we know that their live show is the best thing, like one of the best features about them, right? They love being on in front of people. They have so much energy. So like for this first year, I think the strategy is to kind of get them out on the road as much as possible. So I think it just depends. Some people need to build up their show, right? Like I have artists that I
Right.
work with that are, that can't do a 30-minute set, but they're getting booked at every show and every festival. And then, you have Flyana Boss who already has a 30-minute set ready to go. And that's how they're getting fans, is in live shows in person. So
Yeah, how many times have we seen an artist that goes and do a show and they're like, that's it, 30 minutes, that's all I got. I've
right.
actually seen that happen a few times. So,
Oh yeah,
pretty,
you'll be
was,
surprised.
oh, oof. All right, before we jump into Q&A, because I just looked, there's quite a few questions, y'all, so we can jump into that. Let's end the discussion point with what's one piece of advice y'all have for everyone here, right? Whether they're new, early, about to join the music industry, give us a nice little bite-sized piece of advice. I'm gonna work backwards here, Moody. I'm gonna put you on the spot first, then we're gonna go to Aurielle.
Great. One piece of advice is make sure that even if you have a great team and everything, if the artist themselves isn't the most person that's excited about the music, it's it makes a big difference when you play your music and that you feel that energy and you see these things. Like if you're not the most person excited about it, really your manager, your agent, or whatever, it means that there's a disconnect. You know what I'm saying? It means that you guys might not have the same goals aligned, or you guys, or this music is dated for you, so you don't love it as much as you used to anymore, and now your team work harder to push it out because you don't have that same passion to it. So make sure that whatever music you're about to put out, you're excited to put this out more than anyone else.
That's great.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I would say don't be intimidated and don't let anyone tell you you can't reach your goals. A lot of people suffer from, imposter syndrome or feeling like things are too hard. Everything can be hard. Anything can be hard. I think move past that point and just do the work. Reach out to people, build a community, build a network around you, and let that kind of assist in thrusting you forward. And just be persistent in reaching your goals.
That's great.
Yeah, just add to Ariel and say, go back to the original statement of just going and doing it. There's so many resources. Nobody can tell you that you can't do literally anything you want to do. When I was starting out, I really wanted to be in brand partnerships and I wasn't given that opportunity. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to figure out how to do brand partnerships on the side. And then that's how I was able to officially get a role in brand partnerships. So just go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off y'all because that's exactly pretty much where I'm going with it. Is don't be afraid of the word no. You're gonna hear no way more in this industry than you're gonna hear yes. But just don't be afraid of it and keep pushing and keep knocking on doors. You'll hear a yes. Because the minute you might stop on one no, and if you would have knocked the next door, you would have got a yes, but you gave up before you got that yes. So that's what I would say. Don't be afraid of.
I love that. Amazing. Okay. So I'm going to jump into some Q&A. By the way, I was thinking through all the things that y'all said, and it's all very true. I think be excited, be passionate, side hustle, work hard. Whether Ariel, when you said don't be afraid of the hard work, I was like, my workout was hard this morning. Was not afraid of it, right? Like thinking of this kind of stuff is like this is persistence, this marathon, not a sprint, right? Kind of idea. So love that. Okay, gonna jump into Q&A. Trying to grab as many questions as I can, but also I'm gonna grab questions that we haven't answered yet. Because we did answer a few of these as well. So this is an interesting one, just more about, I think, the day-to-day and maybe artists that you didn't find yourself. But at your prospective companies, how did you get, I guess, assigned to an artist? Is it like that? Is there kind of someone saying, take this artist? Are you vetting the artists you want to work with? What does it look like at your actual organizations?
I can go first. So the way that it works at Empire is usually they're assigned based on their genre or geographic background. The artist is from Brazil, obviously they're product managers from Brazil. If the artist is from Nashville, and so on, just so that there is a common spoken culture language that's understood between the artist and the team. And most of the time, I was the SVP of marketing and creative for the last 4 years. I didn't really get to have a say on who or what I got to work with. I had to work on every single artist, but I did understand certain artists more than other based on how much they invested in communicating with me directly. Some artists would be like, here's my project, figure it out. While some artists would be like, this is why the art looks like this, and this is why the title is this, and this is the state of mind I was in when I wrote this. And then obviously on the marketing side, that makes my life so much easier. And the last point is, the more unique the product is, the easier it was for me to work on, versus if it sounded like everything else or looked like everything else, then that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, that was really good, Moody. For me, I've been approached to manage artists, and they have a business going, and they're making money, and they're on tour, they're doing shows. But personally, I just didn't relate to the music, and I wasn't stoked about the music. And Moody said this before: if you're not really excited about the music, because as a manager and anyone on the team, our job is to go and sell that product every day, or sell that song, or sell that artist. And if you're not excited about it, I would be doing a disservice to that artist if I said, yeah, I'll take you on as client just because you're making money, but I don't believe in the music. So I only work with artists that when I hear it, I'm like, I love that. And I think a lot of other people would, and I want to help build this and grow this.
Because I'm not an agent, I don't necessarily get to pick who I work on, right? Like I said, I kind of work across the whole roster, but I do gravitate to the artists, and I am able to sell the artists better that are in constant communication with me, that I know everything that's going on. And then sometimes I do find an artist that I really, really like, and then I'll try to bring them into the building. But again, if I bring an artist into the building and I don't have support from the other people in the company, the other agents, it's really pointless. I will be pushing myself uphill battle and doing the artist a disservice as well. So just making sure that there's buy-in is kind of how we as an agency decide on who we want to sign.
From the legal side, it's a bit similar to how it is for management. If we don't believe in an artist, it doesn't make sense for us to work with them. Like I mentioned earlier, authentic relationships, I think, is very important. That's the only way I feel an artist can actually grow and develop and do what they need to do to become successful. So if you don't have people behind you that are actually interested, passionate, or believe that you can make it as an artist, then it just doesn't make sense. So that is the same for attorneys, because we need to be able to push them in a certain way. And otherwise, we all work on all the same artists across the board at our firm, but we want to be able to have that same buy-in with the artists that we work with.
The flip of that, though, is an artist is a full-time job. It's a 9 to 5 still. And if you're not you're the CEO of your own company. And if you're not working harder than the rest of your team, it's very hard to ask them for things in return, or like, why is this not happening when you're not working as hard? You should be the leader. You should be the motivation. So make sure you're doing your 9 to 5. It doesn't have to be in the studio. It could be on socials. It could be at the gym. It could be whatever helps your mental be on point, but it's a 9 to 5 job at the end of the day.
Moody, I think that's a great point. I think a lot of times artists, they'll finally get a team and expect miracles to happen, and their manager, they'll ask, why don't I have that? Why don't I have that? When they're not putting in the work, they expect their team just to make everything happen and be the hardest working ones. That's a really good point. Yeah, the artist definitely needs to be the hardest working.
That aligns
I'll,
with this, like, say that again.
I'll say a quick example. Like I had an artist who was supposed to be on the Breakfast Club recently and missed the appointment and said, "Hey, can they just do it later today?" And I said, "It's called the Breakfast Club." I don't know.
Hmm.
Like so if you're missing appointments, if you're doing things like that, it's hard for the rest of the team to still want to support.
Yeah, that aligns with the persistence piece, right? Like as an artist, you have to be persistent with your team now too, right? Not just with your music. Do you show up on time? Do you, actually have relationships with folks who are doing creative for you? That's important as well. Incredible. We have some questions kind of around how you got where you were, and how to get into the positions y'all are in. So I kind of want to ask a little fun question in between. What is like your what's the job that got you here, right? What's that intern job? What's that entry level job that you did or have to do or had to do to get you even on the road to where you are today? If you care to share, obviously. But I know there's probably some good ones
I'm
out there.
happy to share. Around 10 or 12 years ago when I was in college, I worked at an ad agency. We used to work with like Heinz, Energizer, and stuff like that. And one day at work, I was the intern, but one day at work, I lost a bet. And the person who lost the bet had to dye their hair like Chris Brown from Look at Me Now. So that's how old this bet was. And so I dyed my hair because I wanted to be a team player. This was my first real job or whatever. And then a few days later, my boss called me in and said I was unprofessional for dyeing my hair and let me go. But on the way out, another manager at the company was like, "I don't know why you work at an agency. I feel like you should go work for Much Music or MTV. Like that's all you think about." And so I ended up like not wanting to work at marketing agencies and focus on music.
Love that. That.
That's great. It's a great story. For me, I attended the University of Wyoming, and I did put on shows there, so I did concerts there and got to work with some big acts. I was really fortunate because the university had a program. It was a paid position, so you got to play with the university money and be a promoter and not have my own money online. So we did shows. I did like Jason Derulo and Mac Miller, like All American Rejects and some of those bands. And then I moved to Nashville, and when I got here, I didn't know anyone, and I had never even visited. I just packed a car and came here. And so it was really hard because a lot of the jobs you either have to know somebody or you go to Belmont or MTSU that have music programs here, and that's how you get in. You have to do internships, and I never did. So my first job was door-to-door sales. And that's when I come back to that tip where I said, don't be afraid of the word no, because you want to hear no a lot. Try door-to-door sales. And that just taught me persistence and diligence. And then my first job actually was at Universal Music Group in marketing. I finally got an opportunity there, left there, and then I went into tour management because I wanted to learn the road. And then I started my management company.
Amazing. Love the hustles.
I started my career off in sales as well. I started at Yelp and I was cold calling small local businesses. This is about 10 years ago. So people didn't know what Yelp was. Like it wasn't like a household name. Maybe for like college kids, people were starting to gravitate towards it, but for business owners, they weren't. So definitely got a lot of no's, lots of like, I'm advertising the newspaper. I've been doing this for 50 years. Leave me alone. And so, but then I ended up going to Live Nation working in sponsorship, which allowed me to see the sales of music as it pertained to brand. But then again, I wanted to get closer to music and nobody would hire me. And so I just started doing influencer and artist marketing on the side. Like I live in LA. Everybody knew somebody that had some type of following. And then so before I got to CAA, I started kind of doing deals with their clients. And then they were like, who's this girl, taking our money essentially. And I got hired. So I've been trying to get a job here for like the last 5 years. So yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Mine started mostly in law school. It's a bit I worked for a lot of different law firms doing various types of law, but I also worked in different entertainment spaces. So I worked with Street Execs, which is the management company for 2 Chainz and several other artists, and I was able to secure an internship at Def Jam through working with Street Execs. So I did those and just networked as much as possible until I was able to get an entertainment law job, which at the time it wasn't as many because it's a fairly niche area in Atlanta. It has grown a lot, but it has not always been to the degree that it is now. So I was able to get an entertainment law job, had my internship with Def Jam on the side, which showed me a different side of things because I wasn't working in the law space. So it kind of helped me to be a bit more well-rounded when working with artists from the legal side.
Amazing. Lots of journeys, lots of non-music that led to music, right? Like I think that's a big piece I always like to tell folks. Amazing. Just a side note, I worked at a call center back in the day, so and then I worked in tech for many years. It's just part of it. Okay, so before we go, 2 questions for you. What's an artist that you're listening to right now? Just thought I'd put that out there. And the second, if you want to connect with anyone or if anyone wants to connect with you, like feel free to let me know. But other than that, we'll wrap up very quickly after that. We gotta do like speed round. Eric, give us an artist.
I'll start. There's a R&B artist named Child that I really like, really sick. Which is, I know I work in country, but yeah, I love this guy's stuff, and I haven't got to see him yet, but I definitely want to go make a show.
Chayce, you got an artist for us?
Super basic, but Drake, he has a show coming up, so I'm just trying to get ready, trying to learn all the words. Yeah, Drake.
Love it. Aurielle?
Sexy Red, everyone. I'm sure y'all are. I hope everyone continues to. And One Margarita. If everybody's listening to that song, if you haven't heard it, please look it up. One Margarita is a great song. It's new. Check it out.
Love it. Moody. Outside of yourself, Moody, who else?
Yeah, I have a song dropping tomorrow. Y'all should go listen to it.
What?
Well, I actually did marketing for Child, which was funny, Eric. I did like 2 of his records recently. And then I like Gymnastic Groove, which is more of like a African dance vibe, and Aliza from London, which is really dope R&B. Also at Moody Jones, anywhere y'all want to connect.
If anyone else wants to shout out their socials, feel free to do that. Good. Amazing. Y'all, this was fantastic. Thank you
Shout out
for
Paulina.
jumping in. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. No, that was
Thank you. Thank you for having
Music
us.
forward.
that was great. Yeah, thank you, Music Forward. Appreciate it. Connect y'all. Hope everyone had a good time, and we're gonna wrap up because we're running out of time. But thank you all again. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see everyone online.